Hey there, you're watching Bourbon Battles. My name's Joe. Hey, we've got a cool episode for you today. We're going to talk about six whiskeys that I probably should have left on the shelf and not bought at all. So stick with us. Okay, this was suggested to us by a viewer, so hey, we're going to do it. Thanks for the suggestion. Six whiskeys I should have left on the shelf. And you know what? This one right here is not on my list. But as we go through this video, I'm going to drink through this and see if it should be on the list. So there could be 7 whiskeys on today's list. So if you've ever watched a video like this, the first whiskey I'm going to show you shows up on everybody's list as something you probably shouldn't get. And that's Jefferson's Ocean. Now, I have had some voyages that are better than others. If you're not familiar with Jefferson's Ocean, kind of what they do is they take this whiskey and they put the barrels on a freight liner out in the ocean. And the theory is the motion of the waves moves that whiskey around, lets it interact with the barrel, and you come up with a better whiskey. They bottle this at 90 proof. It's not cheap. It's not horrible whiskey, but it is just not worth picking up in my opinion. This is the only one I've got. I won't get any more. Now, I do have a Jefferson's Reserve, not one that went out on the freight liners. That's a single barrel that's pretty stinking good. And we'll talk about that at some point, but that's a nice store pick from here in Indiana somewhere. So Jefferson's Ocean, that's a no-go for me. And I think you'll see that on nearly everybody's list. So let's try this one to see if it becomes number 7. I don't know. We'll see as we get into this. The second one, I want to say, that's like very interesting note I just got there. So the next one I want to talk about, if you get a chance to go to this distillery, go to this distillery. It's one of the coolest distilleries in Kentucky. And of course, we're talking about Castle and Key. This is their bourbon. Their rye is not as bad, but I think they contracted it out. It's 100 proof. I will go back to this distillery over and over again. It's one of the coolest distilleries in Kentucky, but their whiskey's just not that good, and that's unfortunate. You can still have a good time at the distillery. Let me know in the comments. This is a 2022, is when this one was released. Is the 23 or the 24 any better? Is their wheated bourbon any better? I don't know. I'd be more than happy to try those things if somebody thinks they're better. I want to love this whiskey so much. I love the story. I love the facilities. I love everything about it. So hopefully it gets better. Castle and Key for me, that's a no-go. I'm going to leave that one up on the shelf. Okay, so this one's going to shock a lot of people. I'll go ahead and do this one next. Let's try this some more here so we can make sure we can make a decision by the end of this. Still up in the air on that one. Now, I want you to know that some of these are based on flavor, and some of these are based on sheerly price point alone. Sometimes stuff is just way too expensive, and I got to leave it on the shelf just because it's not worth it. So the next one we have is a good example of that. This isn't bad whiskey. This is Peerless Small Batch. This is a higher proof whiskey coming to us at 109.3. I'm just not a fan of the small batch stuff from Peerless, and it's expensive. There's so many things out there that drink better than that for half the price. Now, I will tell you, I do love a ton of their different single barrels. And if you're in downtown Louisville, highly, highly recommend you go down to Peerless. Ask them about doing a tasting. You can do a tasting down there and try some different things and walk out of there with a single barrel. Some of that stuff's really, really good. Their double oaked is really, really good. They've got some really good stuff. This just doesn't do it for me. So Peerless Small Batch, I'm sorry, but I'm going to leave that one up on the shelf too. So as we go through these, straighten up my stuff here. Let's get back into this again, see if we make a determination. I don't know. We'll see. This next one is probably going to upset a lot of people. This is good whiskey. It's good whiskey, but I can't justify it for the new prices they're charging. That's Willet Purple Top, the Family Estate Bourbon. This is single barrel, cast strength. This particular one's 130 proof. You know how much I love those high proof whiskeys. It just doesn't do it for me at that $300 MSRP. And if I'm wrong, I'll put the right dollar amount in there. But I think it's going around $300 now. You can literally get like 5 Jack Daniel's single barrel proofs for the price of one of those, and it's better. Now, if this was somewhere closer to that $100 range, $125 range, it's a buy all day long. But I see people lining up for this stuff to get it for $300. I don't understand it. Like I said, it is good whiskey. I just can't understand it for those crazy prices. And I've seen it on secondary sites in that $500 and $600 range. I suppose it's a cool bottle to have on your shelf. I got lucky and got this at retail before the prices went up. I don't know. Hey, let me know what you think about this. Speaking about letting me know what you think about stuff, let me know in the comments what you want to see on any episode, in a blind battle, in episodes like this. It helps more than you know just to comment. Comment anything. Comment you suck, great video, nice job, whatever you want to see. That helps this so much. While we're talking about things that help, go check out the Stave and Thief Society. You see this illustration on the screen here. If you're interested in that, great bourbon education, 15% off their executive bourbon steward course. You won't regret it. So let's get into the next one. Let's come back to this bad boy here. I want to like that. The next one, I really, really wanted to like this. The Thomas & More Chardonnay cask finished. It's 97.9 proof, coming out of 1792 Barton Distillery. You know, there's a whole series of these, and I think I've at least tasted them all by now. The Chardonnay one is just not, and you can see how much has gone out of it. Yeah, it's just really tough for me. You see these things sitting around on liquor store shelves. They have a hard time selling them. Usually everything from 1792 is really good stuff. I like the story. The bottle's fantastic. Some of the other finishes are good. The Chardonnay, it just doesn't do it for me. And it, at least when it first came out, it was pretty expensive. I know those prices have come down drastically. This one's going to be hard to make a decision on if it's going to make the list or stay off the list. So the last one I have, the last regular one I have, you talk about a cool presentation. Awesome box, magnet closures. Wow, what a cool presentation. That's Angel's Envy. It's their yearly release. I think this last year they did not put it in one of these fancy boxes. This is the 2021 release. I've tried a few other ones. It's 120.7 proof. Angel's Envy, $250. Man, I've got a store pick from Bay Wine and Spirits out in Maryland, right there, that's better than this, and those are like $100. So $250. Hey, let me know. I know the newest expression from 2024 got a lot of accolades, that it's really, really good. This one, I haven't tried the 2024 yet. Let me know if you have, and it's actually worth those price points. It's an amazing presentation, and you can take this off and hang it on the wall, and got a place to do that. What a cool box. $250. Last I heard the retail was. I'm going to leave that Angel's Envy yearly release, cask strength, on the shelf, which is too bad. They do such a good job. If they could get it down to half that price, it's a buy all day long. Sorry, Angel's Envy. I like you guys. I like a lot of the things you do. And I still say Angel's Envy makes one of the best, if not the best, old-fashioned in the world. Okay, so there's 6 bottles. You got the Jefferson's Ocean. You got the Castle and Key, the Peerless Small Batch, the Willet Purple Top, Chardonnay Finish from 1792 Barton, and the Angel's Envy yearly cask strength. Let me know in the comments what you wish you would have left on the shelf. I'm always interested to see it. You know, this is a hard video for me to do because very rarely do I not like whiskey. I like almost everything I try. So what have I been sipping on during this video? Well, I've been sipping on nothing other than Sweetens Cove. This is the Tennessee. This wasn't a cheap bottle, but I think it got down in that $50 range. So, you know, Peyton Manning has something to do with this brand, and I'm an Indiana guy. Not that I care about that, but so buy it or leave it on the shelf. Now, I can tell you for certain, the one that's like $200 is an absolute leave it on the shelf. I've tried that. But this one, I'm going to leave it up to you. This is a Kentucky and Tennessee whiskeys blended. finished in toasted sugar maple wood. At that $50-some price point in today's world, try it if you like to. I'm not mad that I've got it. Yeah, I think Matt Porter over at ADHD Whiskey, I don't think he likes it. I think he says instead of Tennessee, they should have called it Tennessee. I don't think it's that bad. I think it's okay. I actually know a guy, a good friend of mine, Steve. He really likes this stuff, and it's pretty. It's fine. So that is not going to make the list. So Tennessee is not on the list. So again, let me know what you want to see. Let me know if you want to see anything else, right? And hey, I'm Joe. This is Bourbon Battles. I want to remind you, drinking bourbon is supposed to be fun. Do it with your friends. Do it responsibly. Do it blind when you can, but whatever you do, don't drink and drive. See you next time.
If you drink, don't drive to the watermelon crawl.